Your main character of David Baxter, he's an interesting character. He's very focused on his job. He seems a little tormented as well, but he seems very capable to fulfill whatever task needs to get done. How much of that is you in that character?
Oh, not a lot. Uh, no, not a lot. I might identify with other guys. I mean, as a writer, you have to be able to put yourself in any character's shoes, but uh, no, David Baxter is different from me in so many ways. He'd kick my ass he'd get annoyed with me probably very easily because he doesn't like to connect. He doesn't like a lot of I mean, this is a guy who likes to be left alone. I'm a pretty social guy. Uh, he's tormented. I mean, the thing is, he's a pretty stock character, like in some ways I get that he feels familiar because he's your classic rugged hero who doesn't talk a lot and is in this kind of detective protecting role, and he's got a past that he's tormented by. So when you come up with those things, I've always felt that no idea is cliche, only execution is cliche. And so my challenge was just to try to create as an authentic experience as possible through some of these familiar emotions. So we've read everyone's experienced lots of redemptive stories and lots of stories of guys with pain to pass. So it's just my goal was to make him human and try to allow people to connect to him. But no, I'm not tormented. I'm a pretty happy.
That's good. I'm glad you're not tormented.
uh, yeah, no, I'm not tormented, and I probably don't really I'm probably the other character. CLO is the rebellious rich party girl. That's not me either. You might be surprised to hear that. So I'm not a serial killer. Yeah, but you put your mind into characters when you're writing them. You have to be able to tap into it in some way.
Right. Now, will David Baxter remain the focal point of the story, or are you going to focus on other parts and the world of Eclipse, so to speak? I know, for example, like Southern Bastards from Image, they focus on characters for an arc, and then some of the background characters become the main character in other arcs. How expansive is the world of Eclipse?
I'd like to. I mean, the second arc, for example, focuses on Cielo a lot more, and Bax stays with us. So that was my opportunity to keep Bax with us, but to spend some more time with Cielo and see the world from her point of view. I would like to continue to do that in some ways as the story goes on, is to look at maybe some of the other characters that we've experienced and how they see it. But I think at the core, it is a story about Bax and Cielo. They're really the window through, and so I'd like to be able to explore other characters, but I don't think I'm going to pull a Southern Bastards where I pull the rug out and I flip. I think it's really about these two characters and how and their experience, and that's I think. I totally understand the appetite for maybe seeing more of the world of Eclipse, and we very well might, but at present I'm trying to explore as much of these characters and this city and this immediate world as I possibly can. And then if I do it and I feel like that's been fulfilled and there's still an appetite, then certainly I would love to go somewhere else in the world and see it. I mean, I think that it could very easily work telling Eclipse Los Angeles or Eclipse Europe, or to see what's gone on and follow other characters, because the dilemma is right to see how would other characters handle this experience in this world. But in the near future, it's going to focus on these characters.
Nice. Now, do you have a set goal number of issues to do? I know you want to write this, forever, because everybody wants to write their story forever. But sometimes people plan to write, like 50 issues and I'm done. Or do you have any goals like that with Eclipse?
The thing I'm learning more and more about comics since I'm a new writer is you can't do that. And as much as when I started, I would like to say, oh, I'd like to do uh, X number of issues. I mean, the reality is that there's a whole business side of it that controls that. I mean, that would be like, Sam Esmail had a hit with Mr. Robot on USA, but he didn't go, yeah, I've got seven seasons to tell. He didn't know he was going to get through season one. And as much as he might know that this is a story of this character and might know where he could take that character, you have to be prepared to not. So the thing I'm learning, as much as successful as Eclipse has been, and the first run has been great, we're super excited about the next one, I'm trying to change the way I think about it to be more episodic and to say, all right, I've told the second arc, I have an idea of what I want the third arc to be, I have an idea of where these characters can go emotionally, but in terms of charting out to issue 20 or issue 30, it's hard to do that at this point in the game. And so as long as people are enjoying it and there's an appetite, I would love to continue it. I can definitely say I have an idea of where I'd go up to 12, because that would be the third arc, and I'm already starting to think about that. But much past that, I'm trying not to get too big picture on the whole thing.
Okay, that's good. Now, your book has a religious overtone at times as it relates to your antagonist, who I loved as a character, but as well as your solar power mogul character, as it relates to like his hold over the city. I enjoyed the blurring of lines between power and religion and hope. Was it intentional to make the reader unsure how to feel about so many characters?
Yes. Yeah. I like complex characters. I like, I mean, especially, yeah, I mean, I don't want to watch a killer who you go, well, that guy's a jerk and he's got no right. It's far more interesting to go, yeah, I get it. I get it. I maybe wouldn't go that dark if I was in his shoes, but I get it. And I mean, those are the most interesting guys. I mean, when I think about any killer, you're the best killers from movies and pop culture. You're John Doe from Seven or Hannibal Lecter. You gotta empathize and understand them to some regard. And the best, not really villains, but you pointed out the guy who runs this solar company who's kind of got his grip on the city. You get it, and more actually. I mean, one thing I really that's Cielo's father, and she's really getting explored in the second arc. So it becomes even more, complex of, when you're trying to protect the city and when you're trying to keep a city together in a situation like this, are you the good guy or the bad guy in terms of doing some bad things that maybe need to be done? So
yeah, he was definitely one of my favorite characters because I could see him easily being, the White Knight character or the Black Knight character. It could go either way.
Yeah, I mean, I think that just comes from thinking about why your characters are doing what they do, and that's what and if they have a motivated reason, and then you've got different characters who have different motivations who are then thrown together to face off against each other, it makes it so much more entertaining because you're obviously we lean towards the people who feel like good guys, but it makes it more complex because you go, wait a minute though, but I understand where the bad guys are coming from, and they're really not bad. And so yeah, I like that. I like that a lot.
So comics is kind of a small, but it's an open environment. Have you made any friends? Have you got to do the whole con circuit and whatnot yet?
I'm just starting to. I'm actually. It's a little bit harder to do the cons with issues than the trade. So the fact that the trade is now out, it's going to be a little easier for me. So I'm starting to line up a bunch of cons for 2017, and I'm going to do some here in California, East Bay, Long Beach, and then and San Diego, and then I'm branching out. I'll do C2E2, Comic Palooza, and then I'm looking to sign up for some more. See if I get out east. I'll probably do New York. And so I'm still slowly meeting people. I've met a few people over the past few months, but yeah, I still feel like it's a big world, and there's lots. And I think the trade is really there's another club within the club, and having the trade is it makes it a lot easier than just having an issue out. So
Right, right. I definitely understand that. Working at a comic store, there's a whole other group of people that come in and read comics, and they just do the trades, and they could care less about the issues. And yeah,
yeah.
the trade is very, very vital to the
Yeah,
industry.
I mean, I'm very excited to have the trade out because we had a very good response to the first issue. And so I know there's a lot of readers out there who read issue 1 and then they wait for the trade. So I'm excited to give those people what they've been waiting for, and finally they can catch up. So yeah, it'll be really cool.
Did you get to hang out with Matt Hawkins at all yet?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I hung out with Matt a lot, and
he's a character.
Mark Sylvester a little bit. They're great guys. I mean, Matt Hawkins is a beast.
He is.
The guy. Yeah. Have you guys talked to him?
I got to meet him. He was in Jersey not that long ago, and my wife loved him. My wife doesn't love anything, I'm pretty sure. So, yeah, no, he was great.
I mean, he gave me my break. You know, he's the one that supported Eclipse. So, and I mean, the sheer volume that this guy writes, and the quality is good.
Yeah.
It's really quite amazing. I mean, he just churns out one thing after another, and he's running Top Cow, and he's traveling everywhere. I mean, I'm like, yeah, I'm doing Eclipse, and man, it's crazy. And he's like, yeah. And I'm like, yeah, because you're doing it times 6. So, okay, fair enough. Yeah, but they're great guys, and I've met a lot of the Top Cow family is really cool. I mean, I've met Brian Edward Hill, and there's some other guys. There's an editor at Top Cow, Ryan Caddy, who's now coming out with Magdalena, and there's a bunch of artists so I've definitely met a lot of the Top Cow talent, a bit more than the Image talent, but I've also stayed predominantly in Southern California, for a lot of the cons last fall. So I'm excited to go and meet some other people, and yeah. But Matt's a great guy for sure.
When you guys get out east, maybe if you do New York, we got to get a poker game with Matt.
Do you play poker?
I will play poker with you. Yeah.
You know I'm a poker nut.
I do. I know you can take all my money. I still think it's a good idea.
I would love if I get Matt to play poker. Now that would be a lot of fun. Yeah. Listen, you don't have to pull my arm. You might have to get a couple drinks in him. I feel like he'd do it if you bought him a couple rounds. But yeah, I'm always up for a good game of poker.
That's awesome. Yeah, we're doing that. That's happening. That'll be fun.
Done.
So there's been a huge revival of sci-fi in general in comics over the past few years, especially at Image. Is there any other type of story because sci-fi is kind of a broad genre. Some argue it's not even a genre. But within sci-fi, is there any type of story you want to tackle? Perhaps try a completely different genre, or you just it's Eclipse right now, and you're not thinking beyond that, so to speak.
No, I am thinking beyond that. I am cooking up some other ideas, and there are some things in the works, but nothing that I can at present go into detail about. But
okay.
I definitely am staying in the sci-fi world, and yeah, I mean, I think there's lots of different variations on sci-fi.
There's a ton.
Eclipse is unique because it's like quasi post-apocalyptic and quasi dystopian, but that's but I definitely don't think I do another post-apocalyptic thing. That's my post-apocalyptic thing. But there's so many other subgenres in sci-fi. So I'm definitely looking forward to tackling some of those. But I don't. I'm never gonna do. Listen, who knows? I don't want to say never to anything, but I
Sure.
definitely think in the near future, for me, it's sci-fi, it's thriller, it's action.
Okay.
That's the area that I'm most attracted to right now.
Nice. That's because of all those '80s movies you watched.
Right. Well, definitely the sci-fi stuff. Eclipse is a little darker than some of the stuff I was watching back then, but yeah, a lot of that stuff that I mentioned. I mean, to bring it full circle, like watching so many things that tapped into my imagination. I love world building, and so I think definitely I would like to continue to tell stories where, in addition to having an interesting story, that there's an interesting world that people go, oh, that's a cool world. I want to step into that world. That's very important to me.
Gotcha.